Thank you for your support in my channel. It is growing faster than I ever anticipated, and by the looks of it, it it means that this content is indeed informative and liked. So this has motivated me tremendously to create more episodes and share more information on mining. And today's episode is going to concentrate on a new version of the firmware that I recently discovered and made an episode on. So the new exciting things regarding the KS1, but also the KS0 Pro, and I think the whole series of Iceriver Caspa miners is the new firmware that this um, GitHub user has created. And although here it says this is a modified version of the firmware except for KS0 Pro, which I think was because the T-Swift firmware was commercially sold, and therefore other firmware creators did not want to interfere with that business. But the other great news as of a week or two is that the T-Swift firmware is now not MAC address locked, but is uh, open to anyone, and there's a dev fee, meaning, I think it's 0.5% or 1% of your mining hash power goes to the developer as fee. So that made it essentially free. It used to cost 600 Caspa, then it was 100 Caspa for a while, then it was 200 Cas or something like that. I never bought it, so excuse me if I'm not getting the facts right. But this is new, and now it looks like this. So though this is the firmware that I showed in my KS1, now there's a new release which basically says there's support for the KS0 Pro. Wow, exciting. So again, this is an update for all the models, and I'm gonna be testing this in my KS1 because that's the one I have right now available. The KS0 Pro is in a different location. And then let's try out these new things. So there's measurements for the 2 hours, as you can see right now. My KS1 has been online for 24 days, but I only have 30 minutes and 5 minutes hash rate, and they usually fluctuate, so it's hard to get a long-term average hash rate. So this means that we now have 2-hour measurements, and then we have new chip control, numerous UIs improvements. So again, dying to see what this looks like. This looks like on the KS1. So let's go ahead and download the firmware. Again, this is pretty trivial, so we're just gonna download this and log in here and basically upload it now. Basically, this is probably gonna restart my miner, so I have 24 days of uptime. I wasn't even aware of that. Currently, this miner is mining solo, and I hit an average of 1 block per day, but there has been days where I don't hit the block for 3 days, and I'm at 300% luck, which means, well, not really good luck. But right now, I did actually um, hit 2 blocks an hour apart. So, what solo mining is, you may have bad luck or no luck for 2 3 days, and then you may hit 3 blocks in a couple of hours time span. So at the end of the day, when you average it out, it long term and on scale, solo is supposed to be as profitable as pooled mining um, or shared mining. But um, sometimes you get more lucky and you can be more profitable. Long term, it always evens out. Anyway, I'm having fun while this is still mineable solo to mine solo, and hitting a block, an average a block a day. Sometimes, like I said, I hit 2 blocks in a day, but then there's like 3 days with no blocks. It's terrible. Anyway, another news I heard is that, well, I'll say this for a different episode. Let's see if this miner restarted. All right, so this miner seems to have rebooted itself. Yeah, it has. Oh, okay. I see the UI improvements immediately here. Um, let's see what else is there. Well, there's a big warning that overclocking is dangerous, of course. And oh, now we have new fan mode, which is, target temperature, fixed speed, and ASIC control. So I guess the ASIC control is the default one. And again, our overclocking settings. Apart from this, I don't see um, anything new here. And then we have this is really the new one. It says 5, 30 minutes, and 2 hour hash rate. The graphs look better. So there's a UI improvement here. So this miner is currently starting up. And we should see it hashing very soon. All right. So a couple of things worth mentioning is that it takes a bit of time for the machine to ramp up and start mining. Basically, the first 7 minutes, there was no reported hash rate, although the machine was mining. And then, it ramps up the clocks and the voltages gradually. And very interestingly, the biggest improvement is in these graphs. So as we can see, a lot of temperatures get drawn, all the voltages get drawn, and it's very interesting how they actually fluctuate. But as we can see here, upon startup, the miner was heating up, the voltage actually decreased. Most miners start with a higher voltage and then decrease it to a stable one. And then the chip clocks were gradually being increased to our desired chip clock. And all this is, and of course the fans start at max and then settle on a temperature when everything else has settled. So great work done to the UI. This is very informative. This information was previously unavailable from the web UI. And yeah, great job. Now, another interesting fact here is, again, this chart takes more time, I guess, and after 10 minutes, it actually starts appearing here. But as we can see, um, we're achieving, I think, a little bit better results than the last version of the firmware. We have, 1.4 terahash, 3.8. I haven't changed the clock since the last version of the firmware, so it feels a bit more stable with a bit less fluctuations. Well, we'll see when we have the 2 hour and 12 hour graphs. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of useful information. Interesting to see how, the temperatures and the voltages fluctuate individually. There's a board 1, board 2, min and max values as well. So that's why you have so many lines. Typically we look at the averages, but the min and max are informative when you're looking at the range that something is fluctuating in versus the average. And yeah, the clock I think is the only very stable KPI here. Voltages seem to fluctuate. Temperatures, of course, are a function of the voltages. Fan speed is somewhat constant. And then again, the hash rate. So interesting to see how this would be exposed in the KS0 Pro, especially the clock and voltage settings here. So you can tweak your overclocks to your liking. Of course, always be cautious of the power there. The power consumption of the stock PSUs may exceed quickly. I'm also interested in maybe undervolting them and see if that works, although I haven't really tried doing that here, if this is actually possible. Maybe that would decrease the power usage, maybe not, but we'll see. So when I get access to my K0 Pro, I'm going to make another video and try this new firmware that we have. Finally, a third-party firmware that's different from the T-Swift one that we can actually tweak without being, predefined Mac locked firmware that you get 5 copies of, and each one is hard coded with a clock. Definitely, this is a much better way to tweak your KS0 Pros for free, but let's make a different episode on that. So, thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. Oh, and by the way, this is the link. I'll put it in the comments. This is the link. I'm in no way affiliated with this guy. I found him through Google and this repo. So I think he's doing a fantastic job. And I'm just going to post a link to where I found this great Iceriver firmware. By no means do I know the person, nor do I promote him. In fact, this is all free. So yeah, so use it. And I'm not making a favor of the community because the hash rate keeps increasing and our profits are dropping by overclocking our um, miners. But of course, everyone wants to get the most bang for the buck. So here you go. Hope you enjoy this one. See you next time.